Welcome to the Storyteller's Mind Movie Makers. Hosted by Melissa Reaves, this podcast explores the art and science of stories that are felt, not just told. Ready to turn your message into superpower and ignite impact? Let's dive in on today's episode.
Well, welcome back to the Storyteller's Mind Movie Makers. I'm Melissa, your host, and this is where we talk about the science to the art form of storytelling. And where do you put storytelling? Where are the different places that we use it on a daily basis in business? And today, I would like to please welcome Eshwar Umarengan, who is with Seattle University, and we met because he was in the Seattle's business plan competition known as the Harriet Stevenson Business Plan Competition. And I want to welcome you. So yay to you. How are you?
I'm good. Glad to be here. How are you doing?
Great. So let me provide a little background, shall we? So this is something that Story Fruition has had the honor of coaching for the last 8 years. In fact, at Seattle University's business plan competition is where I was standing and was hearing the pitches where there was 12 contestants, and I kept noticing that everyone was starting with a number. They were starting with a graph, or they were starting with a percent. And I was standing next to the director, Amelia Markworth, who still runs the program, and said, what if we, instead of doing a number, what if we had a story about a person that the number is about, and they told that, because won't they remember the story longer than the number? And she listened and said, you know what? I want to give that a whirl. Let's give it a try. So the following year, we test drove this entire idea. And now 8 years later, several companies have come through with this competition. And I've been so honored to meet amazing, brilliant, visionary founders. And Eshwar, you're one of those people. So here's how it works. It starts off with the applications. And this year they had more than they'd ever seen before. They had 44 applicants. And these can be students, grad students, alumni, as long as they have a Seattle University. Do you have to be in Albers, or you can be in like computer science? You don't have to be in the Albers School of Business. Okay, yeah. So any student can enter. A lot of the MBA students are encouraged to do it because it's just a really good experience. And so what happens is they have 2 minutes in the first round to present their idea, and then that's the top 12. 44 goes to 12. They get 2 minutes, very stressful day. And then that goes down to the top 4. And then the top 4 come back for the finals and they battle it out. And Eshwar's team won. So congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
And it's so funny because as soon as I saw your team, he was the one team that came in the room. And sometimes, you'd have like 2 or 3 people, or many times it was just a single person that was entering. But your team, known as Gnome, like Gnome, came in with 5 people.
Yeah.
So tell me about
really
day one
team.
when you came in. Like let's hear it from you. I've spoken enough. Tell me about what it was like from day one.
So this all kind of started. I had this idea quite a while ago about Gnome, and just for context, so what it is, it's kind of it kind of allows you to figure out exactly what's going on with your garden, how to take care of your plants, and how to plan for the future of your garden through AI insights. So we're able to take these readings with sensors about what's going on with your garden space and what plants you've planted. And with that and the weather context and more, such as, how do you interact with your plants, etc., we can give really, really specific catered advice to figure out exactly what's going on with an individual plant, or how do you want to keep growing your garden. And so I had this idea a while ago, and it was just me, and I was really stressed out, like, man, this is such a great idea, and I don't know if I have the skills or whatever. A lot of imposter syndrome before it even existed. So I got my team together. Yeah. I got my team together in January, and I was like, when I saw that poster board in Albers, I was like, oh, this could be like perfect opportunity. Let's just see where it goes. Like, I think it's a great idea. Got my team together. These are my childhood friends. So like, yeah, these are like, I've known these guys, since like 3rd grade, even younger for a couple of them. And I was like, guys, let's just get this going. Like we have the technical skills. We have somebody who knows finance. So put together the team, and then I think the first time that I really like I was like, okay, this is like we're getting involved is like that workshop session that we had
Mm-hmm.
where a couple people only sent like one member of their team, and we came with all five of us, and we were like, okay, you know what? The more people, the better. The more people listening to this and getting that advice, the better we're gonna be. And it ended up turning out really well. Obviously, like getting on the stage and presenting that 2 minute pitch was so nerve wracking, and especially that final. But I kind of blacked out when I go up there. But I practiced it enough times, and it just came through. I felt like I was just speaking my truth, which is great.
So great. I was really fun to watch you. So so when he was talking about the workshop is where story fruition comes in, and we teach the idea of the storytelling idea, like to come up with a character that people will follow in their imaginations, having the problem that their team is trying, that Gnome is trying to solve for. Right. And memorize it and work together. Like, how do you tell that? So what was that exercise? So we broke you off into different rooms. We showed you the characters, the relationships, the objective, the where, the framework of what mind movie making is about. And then sent you off to go do it. What was that like working with your team going, we have to find a story?
Yeah. So I mean, as a team of like very technical people, we came in with numbers off the bat, and boy, that was not the case by the end of that first meeting, because we realized that like it really is about like captivating the audience before you can go ahead and like spam them with all of these different facts. So when we got that piece of advice of like starting off with a character, I believe we named her Sarah, and
Probably.
I think so. I think so.
I use Sarah and Jeremy too much. I like Kim.
Yeah, they're
But is it a
they
Sarah
work.
with an H or no H? That's the difference that I want.
True, difference maker. But yeah, after we came in and kind of made that story up of like, her plants are struggling and she doesn't know what to do. It was great. I loved it. And then when we presented it, we got a ton of laughs, which was awesome because then I knew, we had them hooked. We had them
You
really good.
did. You
Mm-hmm.
did. And I think we were
Yeah.
all just a little bit like, because you had written it and we had practiced it a few times. And I knew that there was some smirk lines, but people in the audience started giggling. And that's when you knew you had them. Like you knew you had
But
them.
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think my teammates were like, I saw you visibly chill out after the first set of laughs. I was like, yeah, yeah,
That's good because it wasn't too much, but it just normalized it and it made it really relatable. It really
hmm
did. So that's
yeah,
cool. And I remember on that day when it was the semifinals, we were in that room. And what was it like for you when, unfortunately, one of the founders who did not show up for the workshop, first speaker, he
hmm
froze. He
it was
literally
it
froze
was
for like 30 seconds. And God love him. I mean, he was nervous already, but he was also struggling. I think it's his second language that adds to the stress of it. And he froze and he was the first person. What was going on in your mind as a semifinal you were fighting for semifinals. How did that feel
yep.
for you? What'd you do?
It was I mean, it was intimidating already just before he went up, seeing all of those judges, and after he went up there, and we saw him freeze, and we just were that's like that's hopefully like that doesn't happen, but like that could totally happen to any one of us. Like you don't know what it's like getting up there and speaking and just being able to like essentially like memorize have a 2 minute memorized speech delivered. But something that I started doing while I was in line was kind of like retelling the story in my head, where it was like I kind of like attached an emotion to each line in my head. I was like, man, I can't, like, I would hate to be Sarah in this position. Like her plant, she just bought them and they just died. And like, that's kind of how I practice rehearsing it. Cause I was like, if I could remember the emotion or kind of feel the emotion before I said the line, it would, that wouldn't mean that I had to have it memorized. So when I went up there, I think I did end up changing my speech up a bit, but I was able to keep that, that guideline, that kind of, again, like that story going, because it felt like an actual story to me, because that's how I kind of rehearsed it. And I was like, I know, after seeing that first person freeze up, it's like, it's scary, and I can't rely on memorization because so many people struggle with that, and me included. So I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta find a different way to just rehearse, and
I
it
love
worked
that.
out really well.
Have you
Yeah.
ever had theater? Did you ever do theater in school at any point? Okay, because I got to be honest, that's like what an actor does. An actor, because I have been an actor since I was 9. An actor, when they're learning their lines, they get the subtext underneath it, and that's what you were doing naturally, which helps you memorize it. Because the thing is that yes, it's a pitch, and yes, you're telling stories, and yes, you were being timed, and there was all those stakes.
Hmm.
It was all involved, but it never has to be verbatim. It's like depending on who you're talking to will fluctuate. You might even
Hmm.
change her from Sarah to Steve because you're talking to a whole bunch of guys one time. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but just to have that fluidity and that comfort in knowing your story. Do you still know the opening story? Do you still know it?
I remember bits and pieces. I know that she had bought her plant. She bought her basil plant a week before, and she traveled for work, and she comes home and she sees it brown and crispy. And that was a line that got him laughing. And
Yeah.
after that, it's just like, the problem is that information is hard to find, and with busy schedules and not much time to take care of your plants, it just feels like a lost cause, and that's where Gnome comes in. And from there,
I
it
remember
was
the
just
line.
flowing.
It also had great buy, kill, repeat. That was your line.
Hmm.
She's looking at
Yes.
her crispy basil and she says, great, buy, kill, repeat. And the
Hmm.
audience
That
did
was
not
it.
expect that. And they all
Yeah.
started giggling. Yeah.
Hmm.
So good. So that's the other thing is it's like, the founders in their investor pitches, they're very serious. Yes. But it doesn't mean you have to be flip. You don't have to be like a clown, but you can still
Hmm.
be relatable. And you are selling, a gardening tool. It's not solving a cancer. It's an
Hmm.
important thing, and we want our plants to thrive. But I was really pleased in watching you kind of play in it, and enjoy it, but still have serious software. So that's the other thing. After they did their talk, they then had a booth, and I got to be honest, I was pretty impressed with how far your AI and your software was developed. I mean, we were talking right into it, and Gnome was answering it. Tell me about that, because if you met in January and our workshop was in April, the competition was in May. What was that like
Hmm.
about the development?
Yeah. So when I had this idea, I knew how to develop decently well. I kind of self-taught a lot of my skills, and just after I realized that, like, at first I started this off as like a personal project, because I was like, let me, practice my coding, like, start it from the beginning. But as I just kept thinking about it, I was like, this could be great, and I should get this out as fast as possible. So I I took my team, and we used AI to build an AI tool. But I mean, it works so well.
Yeah.
And we actually move very quickly because of it. And I think it's kind of the next generation of how are we going to build something useful fast. And just that's kind of it was mainly just, having the right people together who knew the whole system and how to build it, and then just bringing AI into the mix and letting it cook with our vision. It was great. Like,
And also during the presentations, as they were developing, we had Missy AI. We had my AI that
yeah.
was accessible to any of the students who wanted to use it. So you did use Missy, right?
Yeah, pretty extensively. I mean, she
Okay,
came up
great.
with
Tell
the
me
buy,
about
kill,
that.
repeat
I'd love to
line.
hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, she came up with the buy, kill, repeat line. She was, she was great. Like, I used Missy for not only my semifinals pitch, but also my finals pitch.
Hmm.
And in my finals pitch, I had a story again where it was about my mom and her
Yep.
banana plant,
Yep.
and how she grows a tropical banana plant in Washington State, which is like, as we all know, it's not tropical at all.
No, it's
So
not.
like Missy did a great job of just connecting my thoughts into like a coherent and like very convincing story. And I feel like that it really showed with the 2 minute pitch. And like, I mean, it got me so far with like being able to just segue into the details and technicalities of my idea while like keeping them hooked in that initial portion and weaving in that humor and banter. It was actually genuinely an amazing tool.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, I'm proud of Missy. I mean, she's trained in my
She's
book. She's
great.
trained in my voice. Was it weird, like working and then?
Yeah, when we would pull up Zoom sessions and then we'd be like, let's use Missy, and then like she'd start talking and then be like, and then Melissa would actually start talking and be like,
Yeah,
okay,
I know. It even freaks me out sometimes.
yeah.
That's cool. Did you use her? So there's two ways you can use Missy. You can use as the talk feature, and you can just tell her your story, and then she'll start interviewing like I would if I was story mining with you. And then she makes
Mm.
suggestions, but she's capturing every iteration. So then you can copy it and then start to like fine tune it. So it's not like we're lazy using AI. We're actively working with AI to make sure that it's reaching what we're trying to do. But you can also put your slide deck into the Missy program, and she can read the slides and let you know if the slides are going to be crowded for a speaker's presentation
Mm.
and make suggestions. Did you use her for that?
I didn't use Missy for the second half with
Okay.
the slideshow itself, but for a week I would just go into like a cafe, just put my headphones in, and I would just converse with Missy. We'd go slide by slide. Like I was just like, I don't do that with like Claude or like with any other AI tool. Like I had a full on conversation with her, I don't
I
know.
know. I do it too. I do too.
Yeah.
I love that app.
And yeah, it's great. And she helped me organize like my thoughts just so well. It was great. Like it was just felt
Awesome.
like I was talking to somebody. Yeah.
Like you have her in your corner. That's really great. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad to hear that. Okay, so that was the process of getting to the finals. And then I got to say one of my favorite moments. So after they do, and it's a 10-minute pitch, correct? Yes, it's a
Yes,
10-minute
10-minute
pitch. So
pitch.
now it's
Yep.
10 minutes. The stakes are up. You've got 4 people. It's slides. There was no slides in the semifinal. It was only your words. And then you have slides. And your slides were beautiful. So if you use Missy, or it sounded like you kind of used her, just maybe in a different way, they were super clean. I was very pleased. I had no notes on your slides because a lot of times people in presentations, they want to, I've got a slide, so I've got to throw the kitchen sink on it. And as a speaker, if you've been listening to this podcast at all, that's data dumping, and that's what will spark distraction, also known as the wonder wander event. None of that was happening with Gnome. Gnome had everything clean. But my favorite part was during the questions and answers where they don't know what they're going to get asked by these judges. And these judges are smart. They know entrepreneurship. Okay. And they asked you a question, and there was a particular question, and your finance guy was prepared for it. Tell us about
Yeah.
that moment.
Yeah. Shout out Honchul.
Yeah.
He basically, before I had went up, he had asked me pretty much every question that like somebody could have thought of for about our startup. And so honestly, fielding those questions, it felt like I had took like a deep breath of relief because Honchul had honestly asked me the hardest questions that I could have fielded. And then he would come in and tell me, actually, this is how you say it. And I'd be like, okay, so you can answer these questions way better than me, but I will, try my best. And before we had started, I was talking to Amelia, and she had said that, the whole team can come up after you're done with the presentation. I was like, so they can also field questions. And
Great.
she was like,
Yep.
yeah. And so me and Hansha were like, all right, cool. We can tag team these questions. Like we can absolutely go back and forth. And I forget the question that was asked to
Churn.
him, but
It was a churn question.
it was the churn one. He had asked me that question at least 7 or 8 times before we even like knew like that was the question that I was going to ask, because he just has this intuition. It's crazy. Like he just knows what's
Stick with
coming
that.
up. Oh yeah.
Keep that on your team.
It's yeah. He's
Yeah.
very smart.
But what did he do? He had a slide ready for it. He was like, yeah, we've thought about churn, click, click. And there's this beautiful chart, super clean. And I think the judges were even like,
Yeah. 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 We
no
came
one else
prepared
did
with the
that.
appendix. We came very prepared with the appendix. Like, I mean,
Yes.
every question that he would ask, we were like, we need a slide to, corroborate that, make sure that we have numbers to back it up. We can't just be talking. We covered
And
every use
that's
case.
also something to think about as we're talking about presentations. It's like you want your speaker's deck to be very clean and whatnot, but if you are anticipating questions because you're smart and prepared like this team is, you could have some graphs and maybe some of the data dumpy, busier slides in the appendix. And if you're like, I have to pull this up because I need it, I believe that the audience will give grace for that if it is a little crowded. And in this case, he was so prepared it wasn't a crowded slide, but it's one of those things where you have it because in the appendix portion of the deck, that's where you have the data. That's where you have the raw data, the surveys, the charts and the graphs and all of that because it's business and, it's based on numbers. It's based on the science of the idea, right? But it's just not, I think it's a myth that you have to start with those slides in order to have credibility. And you proved me right and you proved out there
Yeah.
that data dump that's not just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean it's right. I just worked with someone today and they're at a top company. And I said, let me see your slides. And she showed me the slides of her colleague that's going to present. And I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. And she is now going to be building her presentation ready to go using the speaker's note framework on how to make it clean because your audience doesn't want to get accosted by data. They want to like tons of words, graphs, charts, it's what everyone's doing. It doesn't mean it's right. And that's what we're trying to change in the world. We're trying to make the audiences more delighted and the speakers more in control. And, I just do another applause for the entire team of Gnome. You can hear how hard they all worked. And that's why they walked away with first place. Like, done. It was really great. So what's next for
Thank
you?
you.
What's next with Gnome? What's going on?
So we're kind of, I mean, after we won that 20K, celebrations all around.
20K. Everyone, did you hear that? 20K.
Yeah, it's great. It's perfect. It's such a blessing to be able to start the company with that much money and just an idea.
Yeah.
So our next step is so we've been building ever since then. Obviously, took a little bit of a break, enjoyed ourselves, but we're right back to it. We're in Summer Venture Build at Seattle University, Red Hawk Venture Labs, two different names. But our next step is
right. Red Hawk. I just want to make sure it's Red Hawk Venture Labs. So they're the Red Hawks at Seattle U.
Yeah. So our next steps are to join this accelerator program, and by next month, August 3rd is when it begins. We want to have a fully fleshed out product, a lot of features, just ready to go to market. And during our 6-week period over there, we want to figure out how are we going to approach the market? What type of angles can we go use? What is our I mean, we have an advertising budget now, which is great. How are we going to go about advertising? How are we going to just hit the ground running the moment those 6 weeks are up? And we get a lot of mentorship and guidance from the school, which is wonderful. They've really set us up with a wonderful opportunity with the last competition and now this program.
Yeah.
And from now on, it's just once that school year starts, we're just going to release product and see what happens, keep going.
And you had a B2B and a B2C. So the B2C is what you're rolling out with first. So home gardeners, urban gardeners, anyone and by the way, I could use Gnome right now because I want to know what's happening to my hydrangeas.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're burning up. It's really upsetting me. But then there's also a B2B play. Do you want to talk about that at all? Or is that something Yeah.
So we have a couple B2B contacts and we have met up, or we haven't met up with anybody, but we have a contact that can kind of warm introduce us to a lot of nurseries, grow houses, greenhouses, etc.
Beautiful.
And with that angle, it's great because once we get some momentum, we can just hit the adjacent person right off the bat and be like, hey, our product works.
Yeah.
let's keep, we can utilize this for you guys. We can tailor it for you guys. And so it's great that with the B2C angle, we can focus more on advertising and marketing. But with the B2B angle, we can be as personable as possible and give them custom solutions, which is what we're really excited to do. And it's just going to be a fun journey. Like, I feel like the competitions have set us up with the right connections to just have a warm intro to both these markets, which is just so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and Seattle's such a startup friendly community. There's cohorts and accelerators and I was at one yesterday on the east side, where founders can go up, they get 1 minute, half the time you had to present their ideas. And there are people in the room that can write checks. I mean, they really are very quality here. So I know everyone thinks Silicon Valley, but do not underestimate what's going on here in the Seattle and the Northwest.
Yeah.
So again, I'm proud of you. I'm so glad that you had a positive journey with the competition.
Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck. I want to hear like what's going on, this time next year, because I'm sure they'll bring you back and want to hear what's going on.
Yeah.
And enjoy your summer. You've got a really cool internship that you're doing. And
Yep.
were you
Currently at
here for
United
FIFA at all?
Airlines.
Did you get any of the FIFA energy?
No.
That's too bad.
I get standby seats. So it's if I have a seat on a flight, and there are probably not seats on the flight.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently, everyone's saying that Seattle won the World Cup
Oh yeah.
as host cities. Yeah, we cooked, as your generation.
No,
likes to
that's
say.
what I said. But yeah, people loved it here. That's what I was seeing on social media. I wish
Yeah,
I
it
could
was
have came
great.
out. One of my coworkers flew out, but it was cool.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being such a great student, and congratulations. And that's the conclusion of this podcast, and we are very grateful for you all. Please, like, comment, share. Let us know what inspires you when you're thinking about your own investor pitches. What challenges you. That's what this podcast is about. This podcast is about teaching, growing, and discussing how you can be the best presenter in whatever kind of environment you're in. And so investor pitches are a pretty active one, and there's real money waiting for you if you can do it right. So he did.
Definitely true. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And we will see you at the next episode of The Storyteller's Mind Movie Makers. Until then, see you later.
Thank you for joining the Storyteller's Mind Movie Makers. To build your story library and turn lived experiences into unforgettable mind movies, subscribe, leave a comment or review, and share this podcast. For fast, reliable support and coaching, subscribe to Missy AI, our AI storytelling coach, available at storyfruition.com. And don't forget to follow @StoryFruition on YouTube and Instagram for more storytelling tips and live coaching. Thank you for listening. Until next time, keep crafting, keep sharing, and remember, tell your stories and tell them well.